Welcome, welcome. Finally got it. I got it. I think I got it working. Give me a thumbs up if it is. Welcome to Watching with Styles. First game of the season. Great way to start it off. Um, you guys can, I think you can contact me with Twitter and I think YouTube if you're connected with Driving with Styles on YouTube. I'm hoping this is going over the waves well, but let's get into it. This, I guess I'm gonna start out with some talk. This game was better than I expected to be, and that's saying a lot because a lot of people thought it was sloppy. With all these new coaches, with all these new transfer players, I really wasn't expecting it to be this clean. And I know there were some issues with some fumbles, interceptions, all that good stuff. But for a first game, it was cleaner than I thought. Getting is done. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's go. And I really, really like Cohen. And I really like the way he called the plays this game. And I'm telling you, there's a lot more left in the bag with some of these play designs. And I'm hoping, I'm putting this out here on Watching with Styles. I think this guy can be the Joe Brady to Ogeron with a better coach than Ogeron. Stoops is a better coach than Ogeron. And I hope we can hold on to him long enough before he hits greener pastures than Ogeron was able to keep Brady. And if we can keep him for a few years, I think this thing can be really, really amazing and awesome. Or let's say if he does leave after this year, I think if this offense and Coach Stoops generates some buzz, I think there are other offensive coaches who would love to come to UK with I think the recruits that we'll be able to get after this season with just the identification of a really good offense, because that's the only thing that we're lacking is skill position players and most notably quarterback. So let's go. First series, new guys, new girls and guys that come on. I appreciate you guys coming. We go through every single play because I think highlights are just highlights. And you need to be able to understand all the plays and why things are happening. You can say, I'm worried about the stretch run seem to take away. Yay and nay. We'll get into a little bit. I'm not really an O-line guy, but I'm not sure of that. I mean, he still had over 100 yards this game. And here's the deal. The reason why we was able to pass, did so many deep passes, because ULM were stacking and ready for that run. So let's give it a little time. I think there were some big freaking holes in some of these runs. Remember, I'm gonna just say this: as a guy from Louisiana, ULM is to me very similar to the teams I played on when I was at Kentucky. They have some really good players. They just don't have the depth that is needed to really compete at a high level. And they have some players over there. Trust me. And one thing my man Anthony White says is that when we play Louisiana offense, those boys hit. And they are very good at being aggressive and being hitters. So I'm not so sure. We'll see. I'm not so sure the stretch run is any different than the RPOs or the read options that we were running. I know there's a little bit of a you have to be a little more patient, and that is something that that's why I like AJ Rose last year is his patience and waiting for the hole and then hitting it. As we were taught, is you slow into the hole, fast out of the hole, and C-Rod likes to hit that thing downhill full speed. And if you hit it downhill full speed, sometimes you don't hit the right hole, especially in the zone scheme. There's no really defined A gap, B gap, C gap. You find the seam and then you go. Now, this first play, I thought it was going to be a pass. I really did. And I was a little shocked when I watched the game on replay how we did a run. But look, this is a zone play, and look at that. I mean, that's downhill, and that's a humongous hole with a receiver trying to get a block. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty good seal. Now, this is what I would have liked to have seen, and this is the hardest thing, is he's trying to, sometimes beginning of the season, you're trying to hit home runs instead of hitting singles and doubles. Just imagine if he went right here instead of pressing the outside more. We got two guys on one. But still, not a bad 4 yards on first down. It's not bad. Now we go back to sort of old school read option. Now, this is the issue that I had last year some with the offense is, are we really reading it? Now, this to me is not a read. Now, I know we're trying to get C-Rod some touches. But the whole thing about the read option is you're reading a guy, right? And if this guy is crashing, we're supposed to keep this baby. And look, if we keep it, what's out there? They're playing man-to-man. Look at this. There is, now I know I'm gonna give it to Cohen and Coach Stoops and Will, is they call this a definite run. But I just want to show you, look at this space. This guy is right now is crashing, which is in all the years I've ran quarterback, is a definite take. And Will should be still running right now. As we've seen his running ability at Penn State, he could be still running right now. He would have hit his head on the backstop like Gus Frerotte did with the Redskins. Just look at that. Now, let me say this too before I go on. Now, with us being in this hurricane, the internet is not the greatest right now because I think a lot of people are pulling from it, and I don't think the lines are in great shape. But so if there's some delay hitches, I apologize in advance. Next thing I'm supposed to always do this disclaimer for a start. I'm just analyzing these plays. I'm not an installer. I'm not at practice. I'm not part of media. So this is my interpretation of what's going on, especially on the defensive end. Let's see. I can tell it's glitching now. This is what I like for me. I know the result wasn't the greatest, but I like to see guys read, react, process the defense, throw on time, and let's see what happens. If you see that, he throws on time, and let's see what happens. Now that's just bad luck. Little tip pass, they get an interception. But just want to show he sees right now, he knows where he's going. Right now. That's a strong throw. Now, the one thing is, I think sometimes you have to take a little bit off of it for the receiver, especially when he's that open. I don't know if anybody watched the Florida State Notre Dame game when Milton came in and he threw a couple passes. Sometimes you don't need to thread the needle all the time. Take a little bit off of it. At least make it a easier catch. Now, I at least still should have caught that ball. Now, this defense to me, let's see if it'll process it. The defense to me, I know some people say play sloppy. What I look at on defense is eyes, is eyes, is eyes. Then next thing I look at is execution. It's the same thing with DBs. To me, it's really eyes. If you see guys peeking in the backfield doing stuff they're not supposed to, it usually tends to bad things happening. I want to see attacking from Bully. Bully is creating another line of scrimmage. Line of scrimmage is the black line. He making contact at least a yard from the line of scrimmage. That is awesome. Now we got to do our job, handle our responsibility, get into our gaps. Now, my man Square got to get a little lower on the point of attack because the uncovered guard, a tackle comes untouched and depletes him. I love Corker coming up right now, reading run quickly. Everybody does a good job. Pascal makes a great. I'm gonna tell you this, man. For Pascal makes a great tackle. For your defensive lineman to be the leading tackler in any game, and I think Ox was like number 4 or 5. That's saying we getting work done. It's no way the defensive lineman should be the leading tackler. So that means that those guys were dominating the line of scrimmage. Dominating. And that's great to see. I don't think that's going to happen in the SEC, but that shows you the level that we have at the defensive line. This is another, like I said, eyes. And it's easy to see, sometimes it's easy to see from the end zone cut. Just look at Pascal eyes. Now, he could have done like the guy from ULM, I know it was a blitz, a little bit different, but he could have potentially crashed down. And then with this coming this way, he would have been outflanked. Patience, experience, eyes. I'm not sure who this is right here, but look at that. Is that Devontae? I'm not sure. Eyes. Doing your job. No, that's Jones. He has contained where everyone is doing their job. Run to the ball, run to the ball. Tackle for loss. The thing about defense is doing on this level. Now in high school, you can get away with freelancing a little bit. In college, handle your gap, handle your assignment, and your brothers, the other 10 guys on the field, are supposed to do their job and run to the ball. If you have contained, get your little butt to contain and turn the ball in, and hopefully everybody else will be running to the ball and doing their job. Now, 3rd and 13. Now, think about this. 3rd and 13 after a sudden change, which is a turnover for defense. It's 3rd and 13. We got to get off the field. Now, to me, I don't know exactly what coverage this is. It looks like cover 4 here, maybe cover 2 into the field, which is odd to me because normally, from my history, that doesn't mean I'm right. Knowing in my history, we used to run quarters of cover 4. We call them quarters. Quarters into the field, cover 2 into the boundary. But this 3-4 is a little different, but I don't see a rush. So let's just say, this is what I'm going to say with this though. I'm going to just give ULM the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say it's quarters, right? So in quarters, just for everybody to know, this is what you get from watching me. For quarters, these two guys are really reading this guy, okay? Now, I know there's another guy there, but this guy dictates how the coverage is ran, right? If they both go vertical, it depends on the defense. Some people say 7, some people say 5, some people say, it depends on what Coach White and whomever the coach dictate, sets the cue for what dictates someone going vertical. Let's say it's 5 yards. So that's 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If he goes vertical, if he's still going vertical past this, he has him man to man. Okay. Now he's inside leverage. You can tell he's close to the hash than the receiver. So what is a quarters break beater is if this guy goes vertical and this guy does a deep out. You just can't stop it because he's inside leverage. If there's good timing, he's beat right away. All right. So to me, this is a quarters break beater. Now, the other thing is, if ran properly, though, this linebacker should get depth because it's 3rd and 13. If this back goes here, who cares? Make him pass it to him. We all rally and get him before he gets 13 yards. But you see, now he does have to expand with the back. Right has to expand with the back. But let's expand with depth. With depth. We should be expanding this way. It's 3rd and 13. Even if this quarterback tries to run, he still has to get 13 yards. This is another thing that people have watched me in the past that I harp on. And this is how I survive in this league, is you have to know down and distance. If you don't know down and distance, you are, if you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail. You have to prepare pre-snap. And we're not preparing pre-snap with this one. And that's, first game. I'm not going to up on it too much, but we got to do a better job of knowing down and distance. 3rd and 13, we cannot get sucked. Now, I think Jordan Wright realized, oops, and now he is turning and running, but it's too late. The other thing is Corker gave this guy too much of respect. We got to know down and distance and know that someone is trying to get to the sticks. There's too much space right here. But it happens. So now we get a new set of downs. Same thing. Everybody's handling their gap like a 2-yard game. This is great job by Wright. 2 blockers. Now, this is what I see more than anything else, is I see this at the point of attack, but I see these guys. I see Bully trying to strain. I see Square trying to strain. I don't know that Bully. We got to strain, because what happened is, if this guy's Wright is taking on 2 blockers, and he is trying to set an edge. He's trying to set up a wall to make this guy have to turn back into all of the other blue. And he takes on 2. This thing is skipping ahead a little bit. Takes on those 2. Boom. Great play. Great run. Great strain by Square trying to get out there to help his brother. Now we're at 3rd and 7. We're at 3rd and 13, 3rd and 7. Defense is winning on the 1st and 2nd down. You just don't. This is coach's dream. Now, I think this is Wallace in, a freshman. This is, now, like I said, not 100% sure because I don't have the end zone cut. When I come to Kentucky games, if I'm there, I'm always in the concourse on one of the end zones, standing up because I can see the whole field. Now, still trying to dissect which guy made an error, because I'm not sure if this is to the field. I'm not sure what square is doing, because if we have a guy in flat, as we call it, and it's to the boundary, so there's really not a curl flat because there's not enough room. He's really into flat. Square should probably be right here, right? I think Wallace is actually in the right spot. Now I watch it again and again, because Devontae should actually probably be a little wider. So here's the deal. Just teaching a little defense. There's a curl, there's a flat zone, there's a curl zone, there's a hook, and it just repeats itself. There we go, curl, then flat over here, right? So we got flat, curl, hook, then you got hook, curl, flat, all right? So there's 6 zones, and look like we have 4 guys. 4 guys in underneath zones. So we got 4 out of the 6 should be handled. If this guy is in the flat, we should have a guy in the curl. And we should have a guy almost right over the ball. Then we should have a guy kind of curl flat. So you're going to give up the flat, right? Because you got flat, you got curl, you kind of got a guy who can handle both hooks. Then you got curl flat. You're going to give up this hook probably. And that corner should know that. I don't know if you watched when it started. That interception that I had against Tennessee is I knew I was supposed to be in 3 deep, which is I was supposed to cover the deepest third. But I knew the linebacker on my side gets enticed by play action fake. And once I saw the play action fake, I knew I wasn't going to have help in the curl. So I took it on myself, and I took out the curl in deep third. And I only had one guy on my side. So when you have one guy on your side and cover 3, you can kind of treat it like man to man. So we're missing a guy right here. I actually thought it was Wallace, but I actually think now that is square, because why is he going to the flat when we got a flat defender right there? So that's on the players. That's a misassignment. Not sloppy, just a misassignment. Again, look at this wall we're creating. These guys are hopefully reading uncovered lineman. This lineman's coming down. We know it's a run. Let's float to the ball. 2-yard loss. Again, let me say this again. Internet here in Louisiana is still suffering a little bit. So, it seems like it's kind of glitchy a little bit. 2nd and 12. 1 on first down again. Fumble. Handling our responsibility. That's strain to the ball. Strain to the ball. 3rd and 13 again. Great play by Corker. Now we had a 4th and 20, I think, and we get a stupid penalty on the field goal. Hands to the face. We knocked the guy helmet off. So we are shooting ourselves in the foot. We had 3rd and 13. We had 3rd and 7. We had 4th and 20. And somehow ULM is still on the field. Let's see if I can go back. Okay, this one is working a little bit better. So this one is confusing because it looks like we're slanting. It looks like Bully is trying to get over the face, and we're trying to hit the linebackers in the inside gap. Somebody has to have contained. We have a pulling tight end. We got to start coming. I don't know the responsibility, but I can guarantee you if you rerun, he is supposed to come here probably. And this safety is going to try to get contained. Because I'm just looking at the path of bodies. we got a gap there. Unless Pascal's supposed to hold this edge a little better, but something is funky here. And the reason why I say something is funky because it looks like Jones is handling B gap, but Pascal is trying to get into B gap. If you see that, see if I can roll this. So, all right. So see how Pascal's trying to squeeze, and we got a linebacker trying to squeeze too. It looks like it's a run blitz. So I don't know if Pascal's supposed to keep this outside on free, but he's squeezing like we're slanting. Now, here's the deal. If we're slanting, but I don't know, it seems weird. One of these three guys, or even two of the three guys, something's not right. Normally when you slant, I think we have a play like this, or then I might have missed a play, where if these guys are slanting, if the front is slanting this way to the boundary, linebackers are supposed to flow this way and take care of the gaps that are aborted because Pascal is slanting. So we need a guy on the outside, we need a guy kind of here, like right outside, kind of get D gap a little bit. But both linebackers are coming inside of the defensive lineman. Something is fishy. I don't know, because we're trying to check. I don't know if Corker, this Asian, I'm not sure, is telling because this guy's coming this way, the play is coming. Something is not kosher, and we should not have two hats in one gap. Even with all that said, this gotta be Asian. This is Corker. The reason why I say that because the way this guy attacks the ball, it's obvious that that's Corker. That's obvious. Now we got to squeeze the ball to each other. So squeeze the ball to each other, minimize the game. That's great. That's good job, and that was Corker. Oh. Look at the strain from Pascal right here. Watch him take that guard into the backfield. Now that is probably where the ball is supposed to go, but there's a big wall there. So now what are we going to do next? Now everybody's got to take care of their gap. Get in your gap. There's a gap missing here. And in any college football game, the running back's going to find a gap. He found a gap. Luckily, we strain. Now we get him in 3rd and 4. 3rd and 4. And now we freaking jump outside. Ah, boy. Now we just missed tackles, touchdown. Now for this, to me, it's not without effort, but I want to show you just little bit what can go wrong when guys just don't do their job. Now, it seems like these guys are slanting this way, right? If you can look, Pascal takes a foot drop step in here. I don't know if that's Jones. Seems like we're trying to slant to the top of the screen. The bad part about it, 59 is the center. Bully is lying right over the top of. He might be a little shade to the inside. This is hard to say, man. But Bully slants. See, Bully goes to the top of to the bottom of the screen, and him and Jones are almost in the same gap. Something's not right. If Bully's supposed to cross here, we're fine. But if you look at this, there's a immediate gap between 59 and this 60. Because now Bully took a step here, this center has uncovered because Bully didn't engage him. Now he's got the block on square, and now we got hat on the hat. I don't care who you're playing. When you get a hat on the hat, it's ball game. Because running backs are good on every level, no matter who you play. So we got hat on the hat. Now he just picks the seam. This is square is keeping his head on the outside. That's why I think Bully is supposed to be here, and we got the other A gap here. If you see what I'm saying, we're missing the A gap here over the center. If square is coming here, we should have somebody here. And if we do that, we are in pretty good shape. But seems like right there, if you see that now, right, we got guys coming free. All we need a guy right here. And Jones makes this tackle. But since there's not a guy right there to hit right here, because Jones stops him. If Bully was here, which I'm not sure if it's Bully's, I'm just what I'm seeing. If Bully's here, then we stop this touchdown run. You can see it even better here. This is why the end zone cut is so important, because you can see so much more. Seems like Square is trying to get in this B gap, right? If you see it, it seems like he is straining to get to that gap. It seems like it looks like Jones is straining to get to that A gap. And I don't know if Bully is trying to get to the A gap or is trying to stay in the backside A gap, because he is looking, he could get across the face, but he's separating on this side of this guy instead of trying to get to this side. If you see what I'm saying, Bully should, in my estimation, should probably be on this side, crossing the face of this. I think that's the guard because the center's here. Across the face of this guard, he gets cut off by the guard. Because Jones is right here in A gap, the right side A gap. I think Bully needs to be in that A gap. If you see it from here, you can see it doesn't look like a big gap from the sideline view, but look at that. That's huge. If somebody was here, we got an arm, we got a guy there, we got Pascal coming down this way. Pascal's gonna come down here. If we got a guy there, I don't think he gets a yard. But that's what happens when you put yourself on the field with extra downs when you should have been off the field earlier. Glitching again. That's not gonna. All right, let's just go to the second down play. 2nd and 8. I was looking for this a lot. We're going to a lot of 12 personnel, but we actually added I would say this is more 13 because this is flex. We threw this out on them. We got a flex as a tight end and 2 flex tight ends, 2 real tight ends that are flex. We have ran, this is the crazy part about it, is that you do this and it makes teams prepare, right? And the thing about preparation in college is if you can get any team, any coach to prepare an extra 5 to 10 minutes on anything, that means that's taking away 5 or 10 minutes on them trying to get more reps at your base formations or your base things that you like to run. So we hit them with this early, and this is going to come back to bite them late in the game on a play with Bates, because we ran this thing, same formation, and did different things out of it. This one, we hit them with the run. And I think we hit them with the run the first 2 or 3. Now, we should have this thing licked down. Now, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know if because of the way they played it. We got really 3-on-3, but we don't get to this guy. We block down with the 2 flex tight ends. We block here, and I think Flax comes and let me get the right. He's looking inside and he seals here. But now we got here. Now, I've said this many times, and Anthony White would back me with this. Anytime you get a running back on a defensive back, he should win almost 100% of the time. And I guess he did. 3rd and 4, get them to jump, get a good offsides. This is the play I showed early on Twitter. And we come back to this play later. The same play, ran a little differently, but it gets this guy in a bind. Because as a corner, we all go by, well, it's the exact same play. We go by what happens in a formation previous to us. I don't know all corners, but for me, I got a pretty good recall. If they do this to me one time and they try to do it to me again, I'm going to play it a little differently. If you look at this corner, I want you to compare it to what happens later. And I don't know if we're going to get a good end zone cut. Watch this corner. He tries to maintain a decent cushion between him and Ali. We watch later in the game when we get that seam route with Ali. Watch how he backs pedals on that one. He turns his shoulders. He's got the deep, and he gives up the hitch or the curl. But this is not really on him. Like I said in the video, this is on the linebacker. This is the advantage of having C-Rod or great running game. And I'm going to tell you, this is a 2-man route. This is why Levis and Levis more than Bo, had a lot of time for a lot of these deep drop play action because of the run game. And watch this line. Watch, this is the other thing I like. Is I like when you get simple reads for quarterbacks. It's all on this guy. This guy is almost like, in essence, an RPO, but it's a play action fake. You're reading this guy. Depends on what he does is where you throw the ball. The play action fake makes him sink, and I did this on. See how he's trying to play the run? But the thing about it is, like I've said all the time, if you watched me in the past, it is obvious this is not a run. You have not one lineman coming down the field. He's getting influenced by just the fact that C-Rod's a great running back. In a run game, any uncovered lineman is the easiest thing to do. And if you guys get bored in games, this is if you want to see how good you are in guessing pass and run. This guard's an uncovered lineman, and this guard tackles an uncovered lineman. When you're uncovered, that means in the run game, you can chip and get to the next level, or you can go straight to the next level. If all these hats stand up, it's a pass. He's not reading run keys. Lineback's supposed to read guard to quarterback. These linemen typically don't lie. Typically. They do sometimes. See the high hats. High hats. They're all high hats. But now, all it takes is for false step. False step. He is going to have hook the curl. They're going to give up the flat. Remember how we had those 6 zones? I think they only have 3 guys underneath. They're going to give up some zones. They're probably going to, I don't know what they run. I can't see the other side. But you're going to give up some of the underneath zones. All right? He took a false step here because he thought it was run. He should be on the numbers, probably. I mean, on the hash. All right? Now he's going to react and try to get back. He gets his eyes. He's like, okay, I got to get out. I got to get some depth. I got to get out more because he knows he's got to hook the curl. But now, this guy comes out. It's really a 2-man route with a leakage by the running back. Once C-Rod comes out, now he's reading the eyes of the quarterback. Watch, it's real slight. You can see Will's eyes go to C-Rod. Now he is out leveraged. If he throws it to C-Rod, let's say they had another linebacker that's in this curl area and Will can't throw it to him. He has leverage. Throw it to him. He can get at least another 8 yards because he's out leveraged, right? So he's trying to strain to get there. If he didn't take that false step, he probably would be right here. And now he'll be depth and angle to allow that to develop and then react to that when it's thrown. But Will gets him with the eyes. Gets him with the eyes. See the little, it's real slight. He got him with the eyes, got him to bite, and then he goes right behind. This is an amazing route combination. We had some really good, not high level route combinations, but really good route combinations that made Will's job easier to decide who to throw to. Really that simple. Now I want you to look at the cushion that this corner has on Ali. Remember that on the next play, I think it's even the next series that we run the same exact freaking play, but different route combinations, and watch what happens. That's a great throw, great catch, great chunk yard. Those things right there are huge. This is just a chunk yard. It's hard to get 3-3-5, 3-3-5, and continue to march down the field, because what I was taught on defense in college is eventually these guys are going to make a mistake. They're going to get a penalty. They're going to get a holding. They're going to get outside. They're going to do something to put them behind the chains. Once you get offense behind the chains, the defense has to lick their chops. Again, this is another one, and I'm going to just say it again. I really think that we're not reading because this guy is crashing. I think we're getting it. Look at this hat on a hat. All we got to do is get a hat on this guy with the, I don't know if that's Riggs, pulling across. That's a great run. This is the other thing I like, what we did, is move in the pocket. And I'll show you from the end zone cut why this play is wide open. This safety is not doing a good job. And it's not really, it's the same. All right. What happens is, but it looks like it's man under, one free man under, is once the quarterback, you rotate with the quarterback. Once the quarterback leaves the pocket, you rotate with him. This is just a simple over route. He rotates with him. Wandale is one-on-one. I'm not sure what's going on because I don't know the other routes over here because we don't get the end zone cut. But to me, if this guy stays here, I think Will go somewhere else. You can see his head is looking straight at him. Depends on what he is doing. It depends on where he goes, because it is man under. He's still looking at him. I'm not getting. All right. So he gives, what he does is he gives the line a little bit more time to connect with the defensive line because he moved the pocket. And those guys got to run a little bit further. They have to readjust. The launch point isn't on the hash anymore. It's over here. They have to readjust. And you can see those are Wandale's shoes. And the thing about it is, if the defensive back is here, if you can see him turning, he's running to the middle of the field, right? You can see him still running to the middle of the field. Hips this way. Wandale's going to go this way. He's done. His hips are locked. There's no way he would have to speed turn to even have a chance to get Wandale. This is ball game. He's looking at the safety. his shoulders this way, Wandell's coming this way. He knows right now that that's touchdown. Our linebackers, I know we get this play a little late. I'm gonna say something, and I don't know if this is the trust with the with Corker and Asian, the trust with the linemen, but we did seem like a lot of linebackers flowing quick. This is square already in the backfield. Looks like we're slanting. It looks like Jones is slanting. That's a great job by Pascal. Squeezing. It worries me a little bit. I don't know if we're trying to see some things, see if we can get that thing accomplished before we go into SEC games, but I don't know. I personally like to see us. I'm in essence a very vanilla guy. I like to see us beat these guys with just without slanting, without doing stunts. Just let's see if we can take care of our gap, whatever the defense is called, take care of our gap without slanting, without stunning, and just see what we can do with that. It seemed like we did a little more slanting than I've seen in the past. And linebackers are aggressive. I don't know if that's because we didn't have an idea of what ULM was going to do. This guy Carrington is man. I'm a little old school with this. I like to see my corners be willing participant in hitting someone, and that means in the run game. This guy is a pretty damn good hitter slash tackler. You got to make these guys feel you. If you don't make these receivers, you see my mind. You don't make these receivers feel uncomfortable, feeling that you might take their head off, they're going to get comfortable and the catches get easier. When you run a hitch and when he runs a hitch and he knows that he's got a chance of getting depleted once he catches the ball, because most defenses gives up 5 yards. But if you can come up and make him feel you, that next one, he's going to turn his head a little bit quicker than he should and might miss the pass. You got to impose your will on these guys early. I don't know if Rich Rod didn't have confidence in his receivers because he only really had Boogie Knight, which is a great name. He ran a lot on 3rd and long. And I don't know if vacating one linebacker, I know he probably thought we was going to play man, which we are playing man. But he had no idea how good our front four was. I'm sorry. I can't get some reason, like I said, this internet thing is. See if I can get it. This guy right here, number 8 and number 4. I don't know how long before he gets the starting position, but if this is any indication, I think it's going to happen sooner than later. Because that number 8 really strains to the ball. And that is something that I personally love, especially as a secondary member, is I like to see my guys strain because that means I probably don't have to make a tackle. Because if those guys are straining, these guys are not running backs per se, not the quarterback, are not coming to the second level untouched. But Oxidine has showed a lot this game, in my opinion. A lot. And I'm liking what I see. I know we only had 3 guys there, but look at the penetration. 3 on 5. I guess they might have thought they had advantage. 5 on 4. Really 6 because of quarterback. But it ain't gonna work because look at Big Ox. That guy's going to be special. Remember the play earlier where we threw the hitch, right? Watch this. It's the exact same play. I didn't get it. We motion Bates here. He comes across. We max pro, 2-man route. We got a clear out. But instead of, sure, use the arrow. We got a clear out. But instead of running the curl, we run the seam. Now remember, last time, this DB kept his distance. He tried to keep this cushion as much as possible. You remember how when Ali caught the ball, how much distance it was between the two? And if you remember, C-Rod went here, and Smoke does the same thing. He is actually open too. But let's see if I can get it. Watch that. Look how, because he knows too. Any good corner can identify the same freaking bunch set with tight end over here. We got trips over here with a closed formation. We got 12, 1, 2 tight ends. And so people know. So when someone says 12, the first number is the number of backs. The second number is the number of tight ends. Then you can determine how many other guys on the field because it's 5 linemen or quarterbacks. So it's kind of easy to know how many wide receivers there are. So this is a 12 formation. Flex, he's going to, on the play action, he's going to come back and try to seal this backside if we were running the ball. But we're not. We run a 2-man route with a leakage by the running back. But if you can tell from this play and that and the last one, wasn't that long ago, watch the corner. He doesn't get the depth that he got last time. Look, that cushion is closing. He is trying to get in position for this 12 or 13-yard curl, right? He's thinking curl like, oops, not now, because he ain't freaking, he's not on the top of his route. He's still running full speed. Now he's like, I'm done. He turns his hips when Ali is 1, 2, 3 yards away from him. That's ball game. You turn your hips that late, he's going forward. You're going backwards. He's by you. Now, little clinic. This is the way I played it, though. I would play like him because I'm not getting a freaking 15-yard curl on me all game. I'm just not. I know my linebacker. You see him right here. He's not doing a good job of getting into this, getting depth and getting into this curl flat. So I know I got to kind of handle that on my own, depending on the coverage. But what these guys, I don't know if coaches are not teaching it, what these guys don't understand is that if the ball's not thrown, I have the ability to hit him anytime I want to. So if I'm playing curl, he's running down the field, I'm going to chuck him. Chuck him means I'm going to try to get in. I'm going to try to jam him. What's this? 10 yards down the field. I'm going to try to get a jam on him, a secondary jam on him right now. I know right now I'm done. My cushion is erased. I can't beat him to the spot. I got to get a hand on him. Ball's in the quarterback eyes. In his hands, I can hit him. That's a lost art that I'm seeing more and more in college, especially with men. I can hit him. I can get a chuck on him. Because right now it's ball game. Same formation. Watch. See how he took the step forward. First, I took a step forward. Now he's widening because he thinks they're going to try to hit this curl. It looks like they're in quarters or man. I think they might be in quarters. Bad part about it, these guys are freaking just magnets. There's no one over here to help with there's no threat over here. No threat. You see here, we should be climbing. This is another thing that I know I've gotten at least one interception. I think two, definitely one. By backside with them trying to run over routes, the quarterback don't think you're going to be in the play. This guy should be hauling his ass to deep middle. My screen is hauling his ass to deep middle. That could potentially maybe help his corner. See right now, what is he covering? There's not a blue hat, a blue uniform except on the sideline. Most of these guys. These guys are guarding grass. Now he's done. As if you even, you're leaving. He's even with him, and he had momentum of going forward. He had momentum of sidestepping, of sliding. It's ball game. You can see even, he's leaving. See, now it's just done. It's a race. That's like, seems like it's only 2 yards, but then it's like an extra because he's probably about 3 yards on the outside. This is like, he's 6 yards separation. And he's just getting even more. That seemed very simple. Seemed very simple. Not, that's what I'm saying, how the route combination was simple. But what he did, what Cohen did was, okay, what can we run off of a curl that kind of looked like a curl, but maybe get a big chunk play, which turned out to be even a bigger chunk play than the chunk play. If let's act like we stemming for a curl, then run the freaking seam. Because just thinking about it, I think Cohen knew what coverage they like to run, all that formation. They like to run some quarters, probably with cover 2 on the backside. So that safety is not going to get into play. So he saw it on the first one. He said, okay, what can I do to even get a bigger play out instead of a 15-yard curl? Well, if the safety on play side is going to cover number 2, because his quarters, number 2 going vertical, he's got to take number 2. Number 1, the corner is outside leverage. If we run anything inside, even if he's playing it perfectly. I'm talking through this. Why don't I just go back? This is, then we're just, because it's nice to see a nice big play over and over again. Let me talk this through. So, right now, like I was saying, if Cohen knows that these guys are playing quarters, remember I went over quarters earlier, we read number 2. Number 2 goes vertical, safety have them. Seem like they are definitely running halves into the boundary. We used to run this a lot. Halves into the boundary, corner safety, he's got deep half, he has, I don't want to say, he's reading number 2 too when he comes over, but he basically has flat, for lack of a better word. He has this half, he has flat. Now these guys are read number 2 up top. This is what I'm saying. If 2 goes vertical, he occupies this guy. So that guy has to follow 2. And if 2 goes here, then he's got to follow. Now we got half the field one-on-one. Right? And if I know I'm playing on 1, he's outside leverage. So not only is half the field, I already got inside on him because of his alignment. That's not a fault of his. He has to play this way. So now let's just say I'm on top of the hash and I just stem him this way, make him backpedal a little bit out to the numbers, close to the numbers. Now he's not going to get to the number, but backpedal towards the numbers. Now, if I stem this thing here, I have space. And if this guy goes here, I got a whole lot of space to give the quarterback room to throw to. That's why I think he saw quarters played here on the hash, quarters and halves, combo coverage. He knew he had that. See how the corners trying to? See how this is? And this is stuff that is so basic for college, but look how Ali, like I said, tried to stem outside, forcing this guy to backpedal to maintain his outside leverage. Once he does that, he was on top of it, he was on the hash, right? Now he's about a yard or 2 outside the hash. This guy's got to go a yard or 2 outside the hash. Now Wandale has to force this guy away from Josh. See how he's forcing away? Now we have space to throw it. See the space created? he's got basically from this hash all the way to Kroger Field to throw that ball. If he threw it up Kroger Field, he would have still caught it. He was just adjusting on the fly. That's how much space was created by this. Look, this is a two-man route with a leakage by the running back. This is amazing. This is all to me created by this guy right here, Wandale. Now the momentum's in our favor. These guys run quick. Look at the flow. Look at the flow. Now, this is what I like. I'm not worried about play side because we got this thing licked up. I like this right here. Just in case. He's not, I don't know that Asian. He's not overflowing because his responsibility is backside contained. He's just not running because what happens is if he ran over here, they're going to run. Rich Rod's going to, someone in the press box and say, hey, when we run whatever the name of this play, that backside contain is leaving his responsibility. We can give this thing out and get at least 10 yards or more. Eyes are great. We are straining. Wasn't the best, but pretty good. Now this hurts me as a D-back. We are playing man. Look like we're playing two-man, as we call it. Looks like I'm trying to figure out this one though, because we got a man here, but we're playing man. Now again, they could play it like this. I'm not sure. But if I'm playing man-to-man and I don't have any linebacker help with this hook curl area, I think I would want to slide at least head up. I think for me, I want to get, you know what, head up would be fine. But I like to be almost inside because he gets beat because he's outside and shoulders up. Like this guy's playing man. He's playing man. I don't know if Geiger's not threatened by him and playing over the top, but we got a safety over the top. Now, this also leads me to a little bit think that failure of communication because these two guys are kind of playing like they are zone concept, but we got a safety over the top in the middle. But if you look at Corker and Jones are playing man, Dort is playing man, Carrington is not, and we got a safety over the top. But Geiger's got to get inside. You can't give that up. That's just too easy. The easiest throw is the throw right in front of you. The easiest throw for a quarterback is a throw right in the middle. In the middle is the easy one. Like I say earlier, I'm not 100% sure of the coverage calls, but what I'm seeing is man, and if you're going to play man, you got to stay inside. All right, guys, I'm talking too much. I'm going to let this run through. I'm going to talk over because this is still first quarter and we're basically an hour in. Nice blitz. Got to get there. Almost. Pretty good coverage. Jordan Wright had a great game. I like Obule straining. He doesn't have contain, but let's strain. So who has contain turns this guy in. If he turns this guy in, you were right there to make that tackle. Wright does a good job trying to keep the outside arm free. Great tackle. 3rd and 9, Rich Rod ran the ball again. It's kind of weird. Wandale's got to keep his eyes on the ball. This is the accuracy issue, which still, The ball touched the receiver's hands, he has to catch it. We got to get this ball in here with a playmaker, not behind him. To me, it seems like I don't know. Sometimes quarterbacks aim the ball instead of just letting it flow. To me, his footwork isn't great. If you see your foot, your foot should be pointing in the direction that you're going to throw. If you look at it, he kind of throws across his body, which is going to lead to some inaccuracies. See how his body, and he's going to throw across instead of foot being his foot looks like it's pointing this way. If he had his foot pointing this way, it would have been an easier throw. Little behind, but we still got to catch that ball. That was one of the two dangerous passes. Hey, I'm gonna let this flow, guys. I'm sorry, man. We're an hour in, hour and 8 minutes. So I don't want to keep you guys too long. 3rd and 10. This is something that we had not so much success in last year. People always ask, why don't you throw past the sticks? Because the defense knows too, right? The defense is going to set up at the sticks and make you throw in front. That's why you got to have good athletes like this, make God miss, and we get close. But they made an error on their punting. Oh, it was kind of questionable to me, but it gives the ball back. Now we got to make them pay for it. Just like they made us pay for those 7 points, we got to make them pay. That's a good run. Good read. Good run. I really like Smoke. Man, he gives you something that, to me, he's like a combination between AJ Rose and C-Rod / Benny. He's got the speed, but he also has a little power. And the one thing he has that none of those guys have, he has a little wiggle. Not a little, he has a lot of wiggle. With all that powerfulness and all that quick speed, he has that wiggle. Like that. That's power. The one thing he's got to do, man, he's got to stay healthy and protect the damn ball. Good play action fake. This guy never falls backwards. Now, let's play it and then I'll come back to it. If I can, because it seemed like it's glitchy. Oh man, this is still not crazy complex, but the route combinations are immaculate. This is something that we lacked in the past. We're gonna have a clear out, okay? And basically, we're gonna have here and here. Pick your poison. It's only 3rd and 6. You can give us this little curl. He's gonna get Wandale's gonna get the 6 yards. Just watch. It puts the middle of the field in a bind. And especially when we're running 3-on-3. No linebackers out here in coverage. They have no zone responsibility. They're in trouble. You're putting this guy in a bind. This guy's outside. They do like kind of like a zone blitzy. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but right. Watch this. This guy's gonna clear the safety out. I can't see the number. He does a great job. His response, he knows he's not getting the ball. One of these two guys are gonna get the ball. Either it's gonna be Ali or it's gonna be Wandale. And it's all dependent on what this guy does right here. All right. That guy hugs on Wandale. The middle of the field is wide open because the safety's got to respect this guy, especially after we hit him with some bombs. So now we got levels. We got short, intermediate, and deep. And the route combination is perfect. This guy got to respect this guy. The other safety got to respect him because you don't know if he's going to go across or he's going to go straight. This guy, and this is the bad part about it, man. This guy always has to get depth. Make them throw underneath. You'd rather them complete a 6-yard play. Let's say they get a first down. You don't want this. What's that? 5, 10, 15-yard. Those are chunk plays. It's hard. That's a chunk play. You don't want those as a secondary. Keep them in a 6 to 7 yard. Ooh, I didn't get this. In the 6 to 7 yard range. You don't want the chunk plays. Now, this is another great play design if I can get it because I think they missed some of it. So we got a bunch set here. This is how you try to manufacture plays for your best athlete. You got a bunch with Wandale and Ali. You put both your best guys on one side. You run, since we're great at running, run a little boot. But instead of having a tight end in the flats, you have a playmaker that's going to go in the flats. I love it. Love it. Across the formation, he gets lost in the shuffle. Easy 8 yard. Well, 6 yards. I think it's more than that. Give him the ball again. I like trying to get him to this. That little you know what is tough, man. Great block by Riggs. Does not want to go down. Keep that ball high and tight. Fights off a good hit. Now we behind the chains because I can't remember. I think they called for hold, which was bogus. And now C-Rod does what C-Rod does. Get all that yards plus a little more. Look at the hole. I don't know what number 9 was thinking about, but he was glued to our offensive line for some reason. We're an hour 15. Let's get through. Great run. This formation looks familiar. I like to see us get flats in the game as much as we can. 2 tights, well, basically 3 tights because flax checks in. 3 tights, same formation, and we run at that side. Touchdown. Now later in the game, we don't run that side anymore, and we pass to Bates. Good job, Corker. They try to get him on a wheel route. Yeesh. Third and 10. This is great work by both of these guys. He has him. They run this draw play, this sprint draw, trying to expand, thinking that this quarterback is going to roll out. Pascal does this job. Jones does a great job with his guy. Chase him down. Get him on the ground. Now we're back on the field. Big boys are running. The big boys are running. Love it. But when you run, you got to hit somebody to make it worth it. And everybody got a hat on a hat. Look at, like I said, the one thing Smoke has is the wiggle that the guys I talked about earlier just doesn't have. And I said one thing earlier: one-on-one, running back should win really 90% of the time. One-on-one, especially with a linebacker, give him a dead leg. Now protect the ball. No, you can't do that. Can't do that. And that's a touchdown. I don't think his foot out of bounds. Could have been a different game. I don't think 21-14 looks a lot different than 21-7. That's going to get even better. But Boule's got to keep that contained. We cannot let the one guy that comes to mind is Emory Jones. We cannot let on a stunt. I don't know if you see, we do a, I don't know if they call it, it's a twist. We used to call it DE stunt, TE stunt, tackle in. I think that's a linebacker. There's a twist stunt. Now, Abule's got to get, he goes in, you got to get outside hand free. You have to. Because if not, this happens. And with the wrong quarterback, that can get real ugly. Good job by Square. Third and forever. We got to get off the field. Now, on this play, a lot of Rich Rod and even his son thought he could have ran. Not with my man Corker right here. I don't care that I think that he had to get 10 yards, 11 yards. There's no way Corker was going to let Brett beat him one-on-one in the open field. It wasn't going to happen. So it was better for him to throw this ball. Now, obviously, it didn't turn out how he wanted it, but that was his best bet. He just could have thrown a better ball. Just a simple override. This is why the people, man, he likes to fight. Why? Eyes. Let me show you something. Now, I don't know what if they have halves, right? But you're looking at the quarterback. He's going to take, because if it's cover 2, he's going to take the crossing route. As a corner, you got a tight end in front of you. You just got to know the game. You got a tight end in front of you, right? There's nobody else over here. You got a linebacker he's got to have hook the curl. It's just ingrained, hook the curl. Right? This is kind of stuff that I did a lot before games, but even during the week. What happens on certain plays? He has hooked the curl. There's a freaking tight end in the middle. Even though this is the part that you have to understand as a corner, even though your responsibility is quote unquote flat, he's really guarding against the smash route. So what he's guarding against is in cover 2, if they run this, but this was Josh Ali did this, and this. The corner wants to continue to retreat and make them throw this pass, right? It's still the same thing. You don't want to be a flat man. You don't want to, just think about this. If he kept retreating a little bit, reading this guy's eyes and reading his shoulders, he hasn't looked over here yet. There's nothing to direct you to him. He hasn't looked at, make him throw it here. Look at Will's shoulders. It is high the whole time. His eyes in the middle of the field. This corner just wasted himself by magnetizing to this guy instead of dropping back. This is the thing. He would have never been this deep, right? but he's on the 30. What if he was on the 40? This is a 10, 20, 30. It's going to probably be a 40-yard throw. If you watch me in the past, a corner should be able to react 1/3 of the length of the throw. That says a 40-yard throw. 1/3 is like 13 yards. Let's say 15 yards. He could have at least gotten here. Look where this ball is completed at. He could have been running. That ball is in the air a long time. That's more than 40 yards. That's 35, 40. It's going to probably be 50. Sheesh. He could have possibly at least played a factor in that. But no, he wants to be magnetized to think that was rigged. That's little games in the games. It's not corner, it's more than just your responsibility. Sometimes you got to help your brother out. Or you put that safety on a real bad island. This was another that was another questionable throw. That's 2 in the whole game. That was too tight. I know it was a defensive lineman on T-Rob, but this is something. You know what? This is something we didn't have. A one-on-one beater. Let's look at the other throw. A one-on-one beater. Look at this. This is when you are, as a coordinator, you can just create matchups. This is something we just did not have last year. A one-on-one guy who can just beat the other guy. Ball game. That's a one-on-one beater. And then he takes on that. That's a really good hit too. Great job by Wallace. This guy's gonna be special. I know they get him for the horse collar, but man, he is gonna be special. I see you, bully. Great reaction. Got to get that contained down a little bit better because he almost got outside. I'm worried about speed quarterbacks like Emory Jones. There's a great sack by Weaver. Pascal really created. I like we got Smoke another touch. He's got to stay healthy and he's got to protect the ball because that guy is special, man. He's special. I like to see more of this because we know he can run. That's just a long time to hold the ball. Now, sometimes you just can't win them all. But the one thing I saw here is we got to get a better job is if Bates, it's just little stuff. If Bates is coming here, C-Raw has to check up. See how they going into the same area? One guy can cover 2. I like to see my man Lewis in the game, getting some action. Good push up front. Come on, the Devontae. We got to do a little bit better job on Boogie Nights. All right, guys. This is we got to catch. Now, this is one we got to catch. If Smoke catches that, he's